Back to our top story, the firing of FBI Director James Comey and the mass hysteria that is followed by both the media and the Democrats. We've heard things like coup, impeachment, and cover-up. First, the mainstream media in total meltdown mode.
There are many parallels to Watergate, but I have to tell you, I think all the way back to the Kennedy assassination to draw parallels. I was there, as you know. I have always felt if Lee Harvey Oswald had been put on trial, a lot of these conspiracy theories that are still circulating today would have been put at rest then.
This is the kind of thing that goes on in non-democracies. I have not seen anything like this since October 20th, 1973, when President Nixon fired Archibald Cox, the Watergate special prosecutor.
The only winner, the only people who've got to be happy tonight are sitting in the Kremlin.
A little whiff of fascism tonight, I think it's fair to say.
Absolutely. Now remember just a few months ago when both the media and the Democrats were attacking Comey. Some saying his investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails cost her the election. Let's listen to the Democrats then.
We're all disturbed, first of all, by the letter, which really broke precedent, was over the advice of the leaders in the Justice Department.
He's got a big burden of proof, so to speak, on him for why he did what seems to be such an appalling act that goes against the tradition of prosecutors at every level of government.
I do believe he is a good person. Maybe he's not in the right job.
I think he should take a hard look at what he has done. And I think it would not be a bad thing for the American people if he did step down.
All I can tell you is the FBI director has no credibility.
Joining me now with his take is founder of the David Horowitz Freedom Center and author of Big Agenda, David Horowitz, and also Democratic strategist Wendy Osefo. So let me just start with you, Wendy. If the Democrats have been proven now to be flip-floppers, and if you listen to that tape, also hysterical people. You continue to say that Trump is Nixonian and everything's a constitutional crisis and this is the next Watergate. Aren't we reaching the boy who cried wolf stage?
Absolutely not. And the Dems are not flip-floppers. Anyone who is a flip-flopper would actually be Trump and his administration.
Well, wait a second, Wendy, how are the Democrats not flip-floppers? We just showed you tapes of them saying Comey is not credible and has to go. And then when Trump fires Comey, is he supposed to stay? You want a non-credible person leading the FBI?
Well, let's look at the facts of the case. The facts of the case is that Comey was fired by the person who he's investigating.
That's not true.
Two different.
Wendy, he is not investigating President Trump. Dianne Feinstein, a Democrat, and Chuck Grassley, a Republican, both have said that.
That's not true. What has happened is from July 5th until January 22nd, you see that Trump and Comey engage in this bromance almost. You even see Trump blowing him kisses. And then on March 22nd, once Comey says that he is investigating the Trump administration for possible collusion with Russia, next thing we know, on May 9th, Comey is canned. No, there is something wrong with this. You cannot sit here and say that, oh, we fired Comey because of recommendation from Rosenstein as well as Sessions, and then you have an interview with Holt, and then you say, no, I was going to fire him all along. And then Trump even goes ahead and says, I took into consideration Russia and the investigation of Russia when I was firing Comey. There is something wrong here.
Well, what's wrong is you, because you said that Trump was under investigation by the FBI and he's not. David, let me get with you for a second here. I'm going to play you some sound of Maxine Waters trying to explain herself and how she's changed positions on the Comey firing. Roll the tape.
You obviously have been very critical of James Comey in the past. You said that he had no credibility. I assume that you support the president's decision then to fire his FBI director.
No, I do not necessarily support the president's decision.
So, Congresswoman, respecting that, to be clear, you believe it would have been better to keep in place an FBI director who you said had no credibility to oversee this investigation than to find someone who you think would be a better choice?
This president basically has interfered with an investigation where he may be implicated. That's outrageous, and that's why we're having so much of a conversation about it today. Everybody is talking about it because this is highly unusual.
The bottom line is that you think an FBI director without credibility would have been best served in this position to try to pursue this investigation.
I think if the president had fired him when he first came in, he would not have to be in a position now where he's trying to make up a story about why. It does not meet the smell test.
Understood. So if Hillary Clinton had won the White House, would you have recommended that she fire FBI Director James Comey?
Well, let me tell you something. If she had won the White House, I believe that given what he did to her and what he tried to do, she should have fired him. Yes.
So she should have fired him, but he shouldn't have fired him. This is why I'm confused.
No, you're not confused. If the president is implicated in an investigation.
David, I'm confused. Are you as confused as I am?
This is embarrassingly stupid. Look, the story behind this, the reason the Democrats are in such a state of self-abasement is because the Democratic Party has seceded from the Union for the second time in its history. It's not the place of an opposition party to mount a resistance to a duly elected president. Not since the election of Abraham Lincoln has a major party declared war on an incoming president. Trump didn't get confirmation hearings, he got a witch hunt. And this Russia thing is another ludicrous witch hunt, far worse than anything McCarthy was ever accused of, because McCarthy faced a real conspiracy. There was a communist left orchestrated from Moscow that wanted the Soviet Union to win the Cold War. Here there's no conspiracy. Here there's no evidence of any collusion. And it's ludicrous, again, to even think that there is.
Yeah, Wendy, let me just get you to react real quick. David, hold on. So, Wendy, you know, we haven't seen any evidence so far of any collusion between Trump and Russia. What we have seen evidence of is collusion between the Democrats and the media. Don't you think that's more of an issue than this?
No, I do not think it's an issue. And if there's no there, then let us just wait until the investigation is finished.
Okay.
McCabe himself even said that this is a significant investigation. Let us see what the investigation says before we jump to conclusions. That is all that we're saying.
Okay, and the investigation will continue because firing the FBI directors does not stop that, despite what everybody thinks. All right, let's move on. Next story. Investigating Hillary Clinton for her emails yet again. This could open up a whole new can of worms. Here's what Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, said.
I think there are 4.5 million people with classified security clearances who are wondering why Hillary Clinton wasn't held accountable for obviously violating the law. Mrs. Clinton wasn't indicted, not because the law didn't allow her to be indicted. She was not indicted because she was the nominee for the Democratic Party for presidency. Obama's Justice Department wasn't going to indict her. This means now the single biggest impediment now, Mr. Comey, the only major Obama holdover in the administration, has been removed. And maybe we'll finally get a serious investigation, one where politics is taken out of it.
So, David, real quick, 30 seconds. What do you think this means for the Hillary Clinton email investigation? Could this happen?
Well, I hope so. I mean, she violated the Espionage Act. She lied to the Congress. She lied to the FBI. She lied to the American people. And she lied to the parents of the dead heroes of Benghazi over their coffins. This woman should be in jail. Look, the other big story that the media refuses to report, and I agree with Trump, he should stop the press conferences until they get actual reporters sitting in those seats, is the use by the party in power, by the Obama administration, of the intelligence services to spy on and sabotage the political opposition. That's the end of democracy.
Yeah, that's a pretty big story. And you know what? Now that Comey's out of there, the FBI leadership might have to start handing over some of these unmasking and leaked documents that they've been withholding from this investigation, which could really blow back on Obama officials like Susan Rice and Sally Yates. I'll give you the last word, Wendy. Go ahead.
The only liar there is President Trump. It was found that in his 100 days of office, he lied 488 times. So let's talk about that. And again, if there is no
Who put that together?
then let us find that
Were you
out.
counting? Did you just keep a little notepad in your office? Were you just checking it?
I sure did, Jesse.
Okay. All right. I'd like to see that sometime. Thank you guys very much.
You're welcome.
All right,
Thank
up
you,
next,
Jesse.
Coach Bobby Knight, known for talking tough and ignoring the haters. His advice for President Trump up next. Then, the not-so-friendly skies as fists are flying.
Stop it! Excuse me. Watch you get out of the way. Do something.
I'm learning to fly.